I want to welcome everybody back. Today we're going to go with a couple of stories from when I was an administrator for Alpine School District. But this one I call my hot chocolate story, and I kind of enjoy telling it because it's got some self-deprecating humor in it. Once in a while it's just fun to look at the stupid things we do and laugh about it. The hot chocolate story begins by telling you that I always enjoyed drinking hot chocolate on a cold morning since I wasn't allowed to, since I choose not to drink coffee. And I'd always mixed it just by taking a cup of hot water and putting in some hot powdered cocoa or some powdered cocoa and stirring it in with a spoon. Until one day my custodian brought in a machine that somebody had donated to our school, where you just take the cup and you stick it in the machine and it automatically mixes the hot chocolate and hot water together and dispenses it into the cup. And so that was pretty neat, and I used it for a month or two, and it was so quick and easy that like every day when I came into work I got me a cup of hot chocolate. One day when I came to school and I went in there and I stuck my cup in the machine and I looked down and it just had hot water but no chocolate mixed in. And so I opened up the top and looked inside the machine, and it looked like the powdered chocolate must be clogged or something. So I got a big spoon and I stuck it down in the cocoa powder and stirred it around and tried to get the clog out and tried to fix it, and it couldn't work, and I kept getting more hot water and dumping it out. And after about 5 or 10 minutes I thought, oh, it's not worth it, this is getting too frustrating. And so I went into the office and told the secretary, it's going to be a bad day today, I can already tell, because I didn't get my hot chocolate. And then I went in and sat down at my seat in my office. As I'm sitting there, it suddenly occurs to me that I had a styrofoam cup full of hot water. I had a spoon in this hand and I was stirring up the chocolate mix, and it didn't occur to me at any point that I could just put some of that in my cup and stir it up the way I'd done it my whole life. But because I spent 1 or 2 months with a new way of doing it, I totally limited my brain to thinking that's the only way to get hot chocolate now. And I actually used to tell that story when I did state and national presentations talking to teachers about curriculum, and how sometimes we get in a rut thinking there's only one way to do things and how easy it is to get into a rut. I'd always prided myself as being able to think outside of the box and trying to figure out good solutions for things, how to solve problems. But here on the simplest of problems, that I found myself baffled for at least 10 minutes, not able to figure out how to get any hot chocolate. Okay, for my second story, this one was actually when I was assistant principal, and I came into school one morning. I think a lot of people know I kind of like to play practical jokes on people. One of these times I'll tell the story about the time that my grandson Dallin got even with me, but for today we'll stick with my story. But I came into school one morning and I was sitting at the front desk there and kind of bored because there wasn't much to do. And they brought in this big pile of newspapers that the local newspaper company would donate free newspapers so that teachers could teach children how to use newspapers. So as I'm sitting there bored, I think, oh, what could I do to make today more fun? And so I thought, oh, I know, I have an idea. So I sat down at my computer and I got on a word processor and I typed up a flyer and tried to make it as real as possible. And I said, congratulations from the Deseret News. This is the 1 billionth newspaper ever printed. Please bring this certificate to our main office and you'll receive a reward, or an award. And then I stuck it inside one of the empty newspapers and just left it on the counter. Well, later that day I got busy, and my plan was to go tell the teacher that it was a joke, but I got busy and totally forgot about it, and even forgot that I had done the joke. It was about a week or two later that we were feeding the teachers breakfast one morning, and I was in the serving line serving up eggs or hash browns or something, and the teacher came through and was talking to another teacher about this contest she had won. And so it kind of sparked my interest a little bit, and I said, "Oh, what happened? What contest did you win?" And she said, "Well, I won this contest for the 1 billionth Deseret newspaper ever printed." And I thought she had figured out that I had done it, and she knew it was a joke, and so she was trying to tease me back. And I said, "Oh, that didn't really happen." And she said, "Yeah, I can prove it to you." And so she takes me down to her room, and she shows me this newspaper article that she took into the Deseret News and to claim her prize. And they actually gave her a prize, but not only did they give her a prize, but they printed an article about it in the Deseret News, talking about this contest that she had won. And they even said in the article, "We're not sure if it was circulation or which one of our departments sponsored this contest, but we wanted to announce that she was the winner." And so they wrote it up and put an article in the newspaper about it. I must admit, for a little while I was worried that the newspaper police might come and arrest me or something for some type of fraud. Anyway, it was a funny story that lived in folk legend lore at that school for years to come. And that's all, folks.